All right, in this video, I'm going to address something that really comes up in a lot of discussions when it comes to YouTube creators and something they really struggle with, which is making money on a consistent basis. Now, many YouTubers struggle not just for days, but sometimes even for months and years. And the question is, how exactly can you create a framework that will allow you to make at least $500 a day once you impose this particular blueprint that I'm about to explain to you? So follow me in this video and you'll see exactly the steps that I use to create this process, and it will allow you as a YouTube creator to start making money. Now, let's address a particular myth that a lot of people tend to hear about when it comes to creating a YouTube channel. The first is essentially where people feel that you need to be someone that has a lot of followers or a lot of subscribers. And this is a myth that has often not been busted, because the truth is you can actually create a YouTube video where you really don't need to have a lot of followers that will allow you to obviously create a sustainable income due to people being interested in your product or your service. So it's really just about finding the right types of followers that you can actually make money from, that are interested in a particular niche that you are going to obviously be speaking about. So the first step when it comes to the blueprint is finding a high level kind of niche where it's evergreen demand in terms of the content that people are looking for. And one of these basically is the make money online niche. Now, obviously you can dive a lot deeper into this, where you can focus on things like creating a side hustle, looking at personal finances, or obviously looking at ways to make money with AI tools. So the idea here is that you first need to create a specific niche that you're going to target and focus on. And then your channel needs to then start creating specific content that is according to that niche. So the second step is essentially creating consistent content. Now, I know a lot of people sort of struggle with this concept because very often they get overwhelmed thinking that they need to create consistent content on a weekly basis. But there's ways to do this where you can essentially use AI tools such as Canva. And you can obviously use other platforms where you can create content automatically, like CapCut. You can edit those videos, obviously, and then you can obviously, create an automated process whereby you have essentially content that is there on a regular basis. So you don't have to worry about creating consistent content because you've already prepared, for example, a calendar for the week, and you can do a bunch kind of production in, let's say, in a weekend's time, or let's say a specific day, because you probably don't have a lot of time to create consistent content, right, as time goes on. So the second step, as I said, is creating content. Then basically the next step is, choosing the social media platform that you'd be using. Now, in this case, obviously, we're speaking about YouTube. And in YouTube's case, it's really just a case of ensuring that you've got the right kind of content that you are focusing on, but basically allows people to know what is the call to action that they need to follow. So in that case, finding a particular product or service. And in many of my other videos, I've spoken about affiliate marketing, where essentially you can promote another company's product or service if you don't have your own. But obviously, if you have your own product or service, you'd be able to promote that using the content that relates to your particular product or service. So the next thing essentially is where basically you need to start obviously asking people to, follow your content, ensure that obviously if what they like, there's a call to action for them. And then obviously you can ask them to subscribe, for example, to something that is a free offering, which is a precursor to your paid offering. And what you need to do is essentially create what we call an email funnel. Now, an email funnel essentially is where you're building an email list of people or subscribers, as we call them, that they're interested in. And from that perspective, they want to obviously start subscribing to your content. Now, if you really want to see something where this kind of framework really works well, and you're looking for some kind of affiliate product or service where you don't have your own, you want to start making $500 a day, then check out the particular link in the bottom, or you can even put blueprint in the comments, and I'll be able to provide you some information around the blueprint that you can follow. Now, coming back to the steps around how you can implement a blueprint to make $500 a day on YouTube. So let's just say once you've obviously got people that are building on your email list, the next thing is to ensure that you create some form of automation. Now, remember I spoke about obviously being efficient when it comes to using your time more effectively, ensuring that you are not spending a lot of time creating content. So the first aspect was obviously creating content in batches so that it's easier for you to schedule those on your channel. And then the next thing is obviously creating the email funnel that I spoke about, where it automatically sends out emails. The idea behind that is that through the email follow-ups, a lot of people obviously will start seeing your particular blueprint in terms of your product or service that they're interested in. And you allow that to obviously start, creating a process whereby people are consistently reading your content apart from looking at what you've presented on your YouTube channel. So there's ways to obviously automate that process through various email autoresponders such as Aweber, GetResponse, System.me, and if you want to check out System.me as well, it's a great platform. The blueprint I mentioned does use System.me as well, so you can check out a link below where you can see, obviously how System.me works. So you create the automation in place, and then basically from there, it's really just a case of ensuring that you're doing a rinse and repeat cycle where basically it's just creating consistent content on a regular basis, but also ensuring that you are seeing, what is happening with some of your content in terms of where the interactions, where do you see a lot of people interacting. One tip I can give you is you can actually repurpose some content which is viral. I've spoken about this in one of my other videos regarding using Instagram to start building $1,000 days, and you can check out that video here. But the idea is that by using viral content, you just basically are repurposing it in such a way where it's obviously using some of your own information, but using content that is already built. So it's a lot easier for you to also, start creating consistent content using that and ensuring that you get a lot of followers and also go viral in terms of your channel. So that obviously ensures that there's a lot more people that are going to be interested in what you are speaking about. And obviously, they will start following up by subscribing to your email list, as I mentioned, which is now automated. And because it's automated in terms of the emails going out automatically on specific days, that ensures that people are regularly kept in touch with your product or service, because sometimes people don't just buy on the first attempt. So the idea is that the regular follow-up ensures that they're constantly made aware of what it was that they were interested in the beginning when they started watching your content. And obviously from that perspective, they ensure that, it's something which they want to look up into so that they can buy it and then obviously use a product or a service. Then the next thing essentially is making sure that you can create content also where perhaps you're not comfortable, showing yourself up on video, because that is also a situation where some people are not confident about that. So they want to start creating basically what we refer to as faceless-based channels. So there are a lot of different ways to do that. I mean, obviously, as I spoke about, you can repurpose some content from YouTube. But what I would suggest also is creating content which basically uses some elements of AI. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of different tools that you can use when it comes to creating content using AI tools, such as Canva. That's a great resource. I would definitely recommend that to create content which is faceless if you're not comfortable putting yourself on video. And from there, you will obviously have the full blueprint in terms of how you can make $500 a day from YouTube. Of course, it takes time to build up, but you will eventually get to that step if you follow the blueprint exactly as I mentioned. Now, if you really want some more insight and context on that blueprint, again, as I mentioned, there's a link in the comments, or just comment blueprint and I'll be able to share that with you, and you'll be able to implement that particular blueprint as well if you're really interested.